Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to 40 Rounds. I'm Chris Ford, aka 40. If you're thinking about doing a spring marathon next year, you need to check this video out. Hey guys, thanks for coming back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button down there to stay up to date with all the latest running videos we've got on 40 Rounds, the YouTube channel for the everyday runner. We've got tips videos like this coming out. We've got more running vlogs from all the events I'm doing this year, and we've got some other cool stuff coming out. So hit that subscribe button, you'll stay up to date with all the latest stuff. Make sure you get over to the 40 Rounds Facebook group as well. Click the join the group button. We've got a nice little community going there now. So get over to the 40 Rounds Facebook group and check that one out. As I said, this video is all about the spring marathons next year. If you're thinking about doing a spring marathon next year, you really need to start thinking right now how you're going to achieve that. So this video is all about that, so let's get stuck in. So guys, I'm going to break this one down pretty easy actually. So if you're thinking about doing a spring marathon, now if you've not done any running before and you want to try and get yourself to a marathon next year, like say the March, April time, right now is when you need to start thinking about it. The first thing you need to do if you're new to running, so if you're not new to running but you're doing like 10Ks, bear with me while I go through this bit and then we'll come to you guys in a minute. So firstly I want to speak to the guys who are just starting running. Let's call it the sort of couch to 5K guys, and you're thinking about doing a marathon, which is great because you definitely can do that marathon. What you need to do is obviously get online, get yourself your plan, get your couch to 5K plan going. Now, when people ask me about how to start running and stuff like that, like just for example my wife, just to give you a real easy example, what I set her up with was a real easy plan of a couple of times a week, just starting to do a little bit of running and a little bit of walking, a little bit of running and a little bit of walking. We did actually specify the amount of time she should be running and walking to. I got her a GPS watch and I set her up a sort of amount of time, and it was like, I think her first times were like a minute of running, 2 minutes of walking, something like that. And basically what that is doing that a couple of times a week and just slowly building up. And I set the objective for her to run to her mum's house, which is 2.5 kilometres away, after, what was it, 4 weeks, something like that. So give yourself a goal. If you're looking to do 5K and you've got no running experience, as I say, get yourself a plan online, get yourself a goal. Ideally you want to run to somewhere where you're you know you can either get packed from, or you've got, you know, you drive your car or whatever. But get yourself an idea of somewhere you want to run to, because you're giving yourself a goal, somewhere to achieve. And then what you do is you just slowly build up. So you do a little bit of running, you walk, a little bit of running, you walk, and you get to that point. And then after time, over that period of time, you'll be able to eventually run that distance. And then the key is then you'll be able to run back. But you need to just build up nice and slowly, don't go too hard, too quickly, just build up nice and gently. But that's how you would get from, like, as I say, the couch to 5K. Once you've got to that 5K, then you're getting a bit serious, then you can move on to the 10K. So let's get stuck in with that. Okay guys, you've done well, you've done your 5K, which is really cool. So you made that massive step, getting off that couch in the first place and getting your 5K done. The important thing now, once you've done your 5K, is to sign up for a 10K run. Now I've done a video about, I did a whole series of new to running videos. I would recommend checking that out. I'll put a card up and get over there and check that one out. But now you're doing your 5K, you really need to sign yourself up for a 10K. So like you did with your 5K, you had that goal of reaching that point. You need that goal of that event. Now it doesn't have to be, you know, next week. It could be, you know, in a couple of months or whatever. Because the important part from going from 5K to 10K is just to continue and be consistent with your training. What you really need to start doing as well is trying to get yourself to run 3 times a week if possible. Now I know it's hard, we all have busy lives, but as I say, you really need to try and get yourself going from that couple of times a week to going to 3 times a week. Ideally, if you can, stick yourself a park run in there, so you've got that sort of organised 5K event going on every week. So try and get yourself stuck in there, whether it's, even if it's every couple of weeks, you do that 5K park run. But try and put that into your training as well. So it's always good to do an organised event so you get a sort of early feeling of how it's going to feel running with other people. But the important thing is with going from 5k to 10k is to do a similar sort of thing that you was doing from the couch to 5k, but try and increase your distances that you're doing it. So now you know you can run 5k, just slowly build up. I say not like the 10% rule you use later on in your training, but just try and build it up nice and gently. So go from your 5k and then have your goal of going, right, I'm going to do 6k and then I'm going to do 7k and just increase it by 1 kilometre. And that's all you need to do. Do it nice and slowly, don't try and increase your pace. We don't need to increase your pace yet. Just try and get to that, edge out that little bit of distance every time you go out for your little run. And it doesn't matter what you're doing, it's all little achievements along the way to doing that 10k. But make sure you get yourself an event lined up and then just work out your time frame and just to say, get those 3 runs in the week. Preferably do 2 of them in the week and then 1 at the weekend, which can be a little bit longer. You want to try and start getting into the habit of doing 2 runs in the week and a longer run at the weekend. And the reason is when we get further along towards your marathon training, you're going to be replicating this 3 to 4 run a week pattern. So by setting that up early in your training, it's going to really benefit you later on. As I say, the key to go from 5 to 10k is get yourself a race booked, slowly increase your amount of distance that you're running, and try and establish that 3 run a week pattern, and that will get you to the 10k distance nice and easy. So guys, now we're going to go from 10k to half marathon. This is where it starts to get a bit serious. Now this is, as I say, the mileage is going to start building up. We're going to go to 13.1 miles, which is really doable, and we've set you up really good with doing your 3 times a week. Get yourself online and get yourself a plan is the first bit of advice I'll give you. There's plenty of plans online that you can check out and get one that fits around your lifestyle and search about. There's plenty out there, have a look. Make sure you get yourself a training plan you can stick to. Consistency is key when you're training for a half marathon. The other important thing to do now we're going up, let's say a level, is you need to start thinking about getting yourself some strength training into your program. Now, I didn't do that when I first started running, and I regret it now. You need to be able to get down to the gym, or you need to be doing, say, some sort of strength training. The thing I would probably recommend you can do if you can is to find a yoga class and get yourself some yoga. Strength training is essential to make you a better runner. It will really improve your whole running technique. It will decrease the likelihood of injuries and that kind of stuff. So I can't emphasize enough to make sure you start focusing on getting some of that strength training into your running plan. Now you're going up to half marathon distance. Where we established that 3 times a week running plan from when we went to 10k, the great thing is now we can use that as we go to the half marathon. It's really easy. All you're going to need to do really is to increase your distance on your long runs. So let's work on the assumption, I say everyone's going to be different, but let's work on the assumption that you're running Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays, right? So you're running 3 times a week. It may be advisable to run 4 times a week, but when you start your training, don't do 4 times a week because you don't want to get injuries like with shin splints or runner's knee and stuff like that. We want to start slowly and build up into this extra distance. So let's work on a Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday plan. I want you to focus really on your Sunday long runs. That's where you're going to benefit the most from this training. And what we're going to do is, so you're doing your 10Ks, and what I want you to do is slowly over the weeks is build that distance up to your, really we want to get you through to 22k, so you've comfortably done the distance in training. And you just got to look at your plan and I say go online, but just add gently over a period of time, depending on how long you've got, to that Sunday long distance run, and that is where you'll put your miles on, and that's the important, to focus on that Sunday long run. The Tuesday and Thursday runs, I want you to use the Tuesday runs for like a, let's call it a recovery run, easy pace run, just to keep your legs going and just build your stamina. And when I do my half marathon training, that run for me is usually about 6 kilometers. So try and find something that's around 6 kilometers, 5 to 6 kilometers. just to tick over. And then on a Thursday, so your like middle run, I want you to focus a little bit on speed work and try and look into doing a tempo run if you can. So I want you to do a run that's at a higher velocity, so a harder pace run than what you're doing on a Tuesday. I don't want you blowing your guts out so you can't, complete the run, but I want you to run at a higher intensity. And what you'll find over your training plan, you'll be able to run harder and faster for a longer period of time as you get into that. And that will just help you, build stamina and things like that. I've done a video on tempo runs, check that one out because it's really useful. But yeah, so your Thursday run, or say your middle run, really needs to focus a bit on speed and stamina now. Your first run of the week is just about getting over the long run, and then your real focus as you're going up to a half marathon distance needs to be on that long run, because as you go up to marathon distance, which will be next, the long run becomes the most important run of the week. So build up your mileage on a Sunday, start thinking about fueling. You're going to be out there for over 45 minutes so you're going to need to start taking on fuel when you're out there. Not a lot, but you need to start thinking about fueling up, whether it's gels or some other form of carbohydrate, but you need to think about that when you're out there. You need to think about your hydration, and you also need to think about your diet, which is important, because having the right diet is going to make you a better runner as well. So these are all things you need to think about now you're going up to the half marathon distance. And by putting these things into place now, when you start your marathon training, it will just be a continuation of what you've done now. So get your strength training done, start focusing on those long runs, work on your stamina on your tempo runs, get your diet sorted and your nutrition, that will make you a better runner, and start thinking about fueling your long runs as well. And that way, your half marathon distance won't be as bad. And the most important thing is get yourself a half marathon booked, get it in the diary so you've got a goal and you know where you're going with your training, and get that half marathon booked. Try and find a flat one, and try and find one that's well attended so you've got plenty of crowd support that will get you through that race. But so that's my tips to get you to the half marathon distance. So guys, now we're going to go to the big one. We're going to try and get ourselves to that marathon distance. You've done the half marathon, you smashed that, I no doubt you did that. And now you're looking to get yourself from that half marathon distance up to marathon distance. It is a big ask. It takes a lot of time. A lot of these plans are 16 to 17 weeks. So you've got to allow yourself, you've got to know in your mind that you're going to be able to commit to that training plan. Like all these training plans, and I've said it throughout this video, it's all about consistency. You need to be able to go through that whole training plan. You're going to have ups and downs along the way. You're going to have injuries, you're going to be sick, stuff's going to get in your way. But you need to be able to complete that plan as best you can. You need to be consistent through your training, and you're going to be taking on a big chunk of time to get this marathon done. So before you sign up for that marathon, just think about it. Have you got the time and the mental time to commit to this distance? It really is something to think about. Is something to make sure that you're aware of before you start this distance. So once you know you're up for this, it's not going to be as bad as you think actually. I say it's more the time it takes and the mental aspect. Get yourself online, like I said before, and get yourself a training plan. Now, I did my own training plan for when I did the London Marathon, and I based it on a continuation of the stuff I did for a half marathon. I found it really easy to carry on doing, like I said to you in the other ones. You know, as a beginner marathon runner, to go, like I say, if you're running 3 times a week with your strength training, you can complete a marathon. The focus really is on your long run, like I said in the half marathon bit, is to really focus on that Sunday long run, or like I gave an example, and really make sure you're getting that long distance done. Your long run is the key to your marathon training. Tempo runs are really essential, your recovery runs are really essential, the strength work is really essential, but that long run, it is, even if you, and you shouldn't, like I said, I talked about consistency, but even if you miss a tempo run, but you make that long run, that is where your focus needs to be. And what you need to do, and your plan will show you this, is again, like your half marathon, is just increase your distance. over that 16-week period, slowly but surely increasing that distance. You really need to be running, as a beginner, you can do 18 to 22 miles. By completing somewhere in your training plan, you will comfortably be able to complete that marathon distance. So as long as you get 18 to 22, somewhere in there, at the end of your training plan done, you should have the confidence to go and finish that marathon. But you need to build up to that. It's a gentle process. You don't want to be going too mad too quickly, because you'll get your injuries, your shin splints, your runner's knees and all that kind of stuff. So you need to build up slowly, but because you've been doing your half marathon training and because you built up nice and gently, you should be alright actually. You should be okay with your injuries, because your body should be able to withstand quite a bit. The important thing is as well to look at your diet. Like I said in the half marathon, you really need to focus on your diet. Make sure you're clean living, make sure you've got a healthy balance in your diet, make sure that you've got enough carbs going into your system. You're going to be doing a lot of training that's going to involve your body to use a lot of carbs up. You've all heard about carb loading, but I think if you have a balanced diet with a focus more on carbs towards the end of the week before your long run, you'll be able to do it okay. You need to think, like I said to you in the half marathon, about your fueling. You're going to need to take fuel on when you're doing your long runs now. So whatever you was doing in your half marathon, just extend that out for your marathon training. So for example, with me, I take a gel every 10k basically. So over a marathon distance, that could be 3 to 4 gels I'll take, plus I'll be taking on, I use Lucozade Sport as another form of carb intake, because that provides me with electrolytes and fluid, and I say it's got carbohydrate in as well. So I take on Lucozade Sport, but look at your fueling plan, look at your nutrition, and have an evaluation of where you were with your half marathon training. But take whatever you've done in your half marathon training and do it on your marathon training, but then just extend that longer run on, I'll use the example of a Sunday, and start eking out that distance. Don't always increase your distance. Have a couple of weeks off where you can back it off. You'll see in your training, you'll have a couple of what they call down weeks where you can just back it off a bit, give yourself a chance to recover. Make sure you get some races booked in there, a couple of half marathons along the way, won't do you any harm, to get you in that environment of knowing that you're going to be running a couple of events. I tend to book one if I'm doing, like I say, April or end of March marathon. I booked up some February, March half marathons. Again, just to get me sort of race focused, because it's quite a different feeling being in a crowded environment and running an event to being out and training on your own or with a bunch of people. If you can train with people, I would recommend it. Personally, I like to train on my own, but a lot of people tell me it's really good to sort of, with the running club, to get that kind of, find a running partner if you can to help you along the way, even if they just come out and do like 10k of your 20k that you're running that week. It's always nice to have something to run with. But yeah, to get to that marathon distance is not as big a deal as you think. It's more about the commitment and the consistency. Get yourself a training plan, stick to it, be consistent, don't go nuts. Check your diet, get down the gym or do yoga like I said, and just focus on that long run. And by doing that, you'll get the marathon distance done, and you'll complete it, and you shouldn't have any worries, and you'll enjoy it, which is important. But yeah, I think that's it. That's the best way I can sort of break it down for you. So if you're thinking now of how you're gonna get to a marathon distance, it's that's coming up out of spring into the summer now, and all the ballots are opening up, so you need to be thinking about, can I do it, can't I do it? Well, you can do it, you 100% can do it, but you've just got to have the right approach to how to tackle that marathon distance. I say, just break it down wherever you are as a runner, whether you're already at that 10k or you're on the couch and you don't know what to do. I try to cover it all about how you're going to get there. I will do more detailed videos on this subject. But I think this is a good overview for you to show you how that you can get from no running to marathon distance. Everybody can do it. It's just having the belief. It's just having the right frame of mind to be able to achieve it. And if you've got that and you are consistent in your training, then you can smash it. But that's it from me. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button down there for me to stay up to date with all the latest running videos. We've got 40 runs. I'm going to put a video up here as well, which I think will be cool to check out. But I say that's it from me, and I'll catch you guys later.